We all know that GameSack is the worst internet show to ever exist. You watch 5 minutes of it and it becomes pretty evident pretty quickly. But what are the top 5 worst episodes? I had the task of going over all these episodes, and let me tell you, it wasn't easy. There's so many bad ones, like all of them. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pick out the top 5 worst GameSack episodes ever created.
Oh, it's Friday night. Don't know what I'm gonna do tonight. Guess I could do something fun, but no. Gonna watch Billy's video. Top 5 Friday. Top 5 Friday tonight. Ow.
All right, so first up we have the episode, games with minimal violence. Why? Why is that necessary? Look, violence has been a part of video games for as long as I can remember. Whether you're Pac-Man eating a ghost, and that's pretty violent, or if you are Mario jumping on a Koopa shell. Violence has been a part of our gaming lives forever. You sound like a mother. You sound like a congressman who says violence causes violence in video games, and I'm not going to sit here and debate that. But what are you trying to accomplish with this? Is what I'm trying to ask. You're going to get well. What is your goal? Do you have an agenda? And obviously, they received a lot of backlash on that episode from a lot of level-headed people, which caused them to, of course, do a follow-up video the next week. Games with excessive violence. Way to backtrack, guys. They're going to talk about minimal violence and then excessive violence. It's like pick a side, right? All right, next up we have this video called "Games That Aren't As Bad As You Might Think." Okay, listen here, GameSack. I don't need you or anyone else telling me my opinion on what a game should and should not be. I don't need you to tell me if I like a game or don't like a game. I have my own thought process and I have my own opinions. I don't need you or anyone else to try to convince me that a game is better than what I think. If I want to hate on a game, if I think it's crap, I have every right as a free American to believe that it is crap. And I don't need you telling me what I should think. All right, number 3, we have an entire video dedicated to the Geo Pocket. For what possible reason? First of all, what the hell is a Geo Pocket? What the hell is a Geo? In all my years of game chasing, I've never once come across a Geo. I'm beginning to think that it's made up. It doesn't even exist. I've never seen one in person. I certainly haven't seen one that I can fit into my pocket, and you're gonna sit there and dedicate an entire episode to a Geo Pocket. No, just stick with the consoles that matter. The Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, the Game Boy, and the GameCube. If it's an Atari, if it's in a television. If it's not those, stop talking about them, because no one cares. And that includes the Sega Genesis, which I might actually get to on this list because you did a whole 45-minute episode on it. Jesus Christ! Next up at number 2, we have, the more I'm going over this list of their episodes, the more pissed off I'm starting to get. Because I'm seeing things that I wish this was a top 20 list, but I can't have it top 20 because this is top 5 Friday. And get this, number 2, I'm gonna have to give it to Fighting Game 3, okay? So this is the 3rd in a series. First of all, let's just get up past the fact that I can't stand the number 3. All right, it sucks. It's the worst number ever. But not only that, you felt the need to focus on one of the worst freaking gaming genres outside of strategy RPGs and racing games, fighting games. All right, there's only been 2 good fighting games in the history of anything, and that's Super Mortal Kombat 2 Street Fighter Turbo, okay? That's it, all right? So if you're trying to sit there and say that there's enough fighting games to make not 1, not 2, but 3 videos, bullshit. I'm calling you out on that bullshit. I got about 90% through this video before I turned it off. I couldn't take it anymore. So stop with the crappy games like fighting games. All right, just stop with it, all right? I can't take it anymore. I can't take your videos anymore. I can't take your face anymore. All right, so there, like I said, #1 could have been just pretty much any video on this channel. I was going through here and I saw some that I forgot even freaking existed. Like I did a 2-parter on the N64, the one Nintendo console that really is kind of irrelevant and doesn't even matter. How you could squeeze 2 episodes out of the 64, I have no idea. But at least it's Nintendo, so I'll come a little bit of slack. I see one good thumbnail has ActRaiser on it, but that's pretty much it. But yeah, MSX, like just now they're just making up consoles. What the hell's an MSX? All right, so if you have that little material that you have to start making up stuff, you might want to reevaluate your career choices. So #1, I can't. Can you give #1 the #1 spot to anything other than the first episode? I don't even remember what it was about. But the first episode of GameSack has to be the #1 worst episode of GameSack because it led us to this point. Having all these videos cloud up and take up storage area on YouTube servers and wasting God knows how much space, rotting God knows how many brain cells out there, spreading God knows how many lies out there about imaginary consoles like the MSX. Yeah, we're to that point right now. And ultimately, you know, this timeline that I'm on, this current timeline where GameSack is so prevalent, I kind of wish that a Mandela effect would open up and I could jump into a new universe where there's no GameSack. But no, of course, I had to be in the universe where they put up episode 1 and now here we are. And now here I am taking up valuable space on YouTube servers to make a video calling them out and letting you guys know that you should never watch this junk. Ever. Ever. Never ever. Of course, you guys know that I'm joking. With the internet, you never know. I guarantee you there's a percentage of people who thought I was dead serious with this, but actually Joe from GameSack, who's a good friend of mine, wanted me to make this video for the longest time. In fact, it was probably 3 to 5 years ago. Nah, it wasn't that long. I don't know. It was like 6 months ago. We had the plan of making this video, and I had much better episodes to choose from, but I forgot what they were. So what happens sometimes, I'll be up late at night thinking of an idea, and then I won't write it down, and I'll forget, and then I'll just ad-lib stuff. But anyway, here it is. Check out GameSack. They actually are pretty good, and if I'm being completely honest, they're a lot better than us. So yeah, there you go. There's Top 5 Friday. Thanks for